the Morning, sung by Mr. Dan W. Quinn. A bunch of jolly college boys went out upon a spree to paint the town a coat of crimson red. Some from Harvard and some from Yale with a lovely tide and plenty of sail and breezes blowing briskly overhead. Sailing up and down Broadway, in and out of each cafe, guiding schooners safely over bar. Every one of them makes the guy with lots of the ready and willing to buy, just like a bunch of Uncle Sammy's cars. A happy-go-lucky gang, and this is the song they sang. We won't go home until morning, whoop-de-doodle-doo. We won't go home until morning, the crimson or the blue. We won't go home until morning, each voice would loudly bawl. We won't go home till morning, then we won't go home at all. The sidewalk was too narrow for the sail they carried now. The safe course was the middle of the street. On they bounded with joy galore, with every step came a mighty roar that woke up every copper on his feet. Coppers tried to run them in, but the coppers didn't win. There was only one side to the fray. And to teach them a thing or two, the boys of the crimson and boys of the blue, they took the coppers' hats and clubs away. Then sailing along they went, all singing with heart's content. We won't go home until morning, whoop-de-doodle-doo. We won't go home until morning, the crimson or the blue. We won't go home until morning, each voice would loudly bawl. We won't go home till morning, then we won't go home at all. They gazed around the city till the breezes died away, and then they anchored in a music hall. Sang the chorus of every song, jollied a little soubrette along, from rise until the curtain's final call. Each one threw a big bouquet on the stage to Lynch pay. When the show was out, they wouldn't budge. Somebody sent for Judge Jerome. He begged the boys to please go home. They looked at Willie T and said, "Oh, fudge." The poor boys were down and out, with just strength enough to shout, "We won't go home until morning, whoop-de-doodle-doo. We won't go home until morning, the crimson or the blue. We won't go home until morning," each voice would loudly bawl. "We won't go home till morning, then we won't go home at all."